Hello, good evening, and welcome to this webinar on postgraduate programs at Azim Premji University. I think this afternoon my colleague was asking, who is this webinar for? Right? Why are you doing this webinar uh, in the month of November? So the webinar is for three groups of students. So let me explain. First is those who are graduating in 2024 or graduated a year back, fresh after a degree, and seriously thinking about societal change and making this a better world. And want to study the domain of education or development or economics, right? That's the first group. Second is someone who has worked for say 4 to 8 years in an organization, could be IT world or the retail or the BFSI or the banking sector, and saying enough is enough. They said enough is enough. I want to contribute in the social sector. Right? I want to get trained academically, earn a PG degree before I work in the social sector space. That's the second group. And that second group can also do the Master of Public Health, by the way, if you have community engagement experience. The third is someone, my favorite, right? I'll tell you why it's my favorite. Third is someone, say, was put in close to 15, 20 years and realized that they have still 20 more years of work experience remaining, but an academic degree is important before jumping into the social sector. So three groups of students actually represents the postgraduates cohort at Azim Premji University. With that, let me introduce myself. My name is Rajgopal. I head outreach here at Azim Premji University. I'm speaking to you from Bangalore today, but maybe tomorrow you'll find me at our Bhopal campus as well. And I'm joined by my faculty colleagues, also colleagues from the admissions office. Between us, we will walk through certain important aspects of the university, the programs, the career path in the social sector, and we'll try to answer as many questions as possible in the next 60 minutes or so, right? We're going to keep our update very short and brief, and we want to take as many questions as possible in the chat box. And we are joined by candidates who have applied to our programs today, and many would be considering to apply either in round one, which in fact today is the last day to apply, or they may apply for the second round. The order in which we'll do is I'll hand it over to my colleague Vijita, who will speak about the education program, then the MA development, then public health, and then the economics program, right? So I'm going to bring up, if you can bring up that slide, Vijita, sorry, Kartika, you can just bring up that slide before I give it to, yeah, you can be there, Vijita. So yeah, welcome. This is a combination of programs offered. Sorry, this is pictures from both the campuses of Bangalore and Bhopal. I'll let you guess which is Bhopal and which is Bangalore. Quickly about Azim Premji University that you can see, which is written on the screen. I'm not going to read it out, but we are an endowment-based philanthropic university, and because we are a philanthropic university, we also have a clear guiding purpose, right? That is we want to contribute to making us a much better society. Broadly, we are looking at higher education, which can do a better world, better society, right? And the programs at Azim Premji University is quite rigorous. Just before I talk about the programs, some of you have applied for the Euro campus to study, or you could also decide to go and study at Bhopal. And if you have opted for Master of Public Health, clearly that is offered only at Bhopal, and we started the programs early this year. Right? And the programs that is offered is very, very clear. But before that, before I want to just set the context, what do we mean by preparing you to work for the social sector, right? So let's be very clear. We've kind of achieved a lot in the last 75 years. Let's not discount that, but a lot more needs to be done. A lot more needs to be done in the next few years. And this will change. How will it change? This will change when young people are watching you come and say that join the social development sector, broadly the public services space, right? And that's they're working in hand with the government, right? The social sector organization are working in hand with the government to strengthen the public systems broadly. But to work in those public systems, to improve the public system, you need to get academically trained, right? And that's what is Azim Range University is trying to do, right? You choose a domain of your interest, and so this is the order in which that we will be talking. So thank you, Vidita. I Please going to talk about the ME education program first. But before I bring in the ME education slides, a quick update about the program. Right, many people ask the first question. Will I get a job after an MA program? Right, of course. Right. We do have a strong placement cell which will help you find the kind of placement you need. But much above all that, before all that, what you experience here is a rigorous academic program. And end of the program, I'm actually quoting what one of the graduates said, that this is not just a degree that I got, but these are learning experiences for life. The classroom experience, assessment, the field practice that you do is all to make you a very self-directed, confident, independent thinking social sector practitioner. We don't have package solution for changes in the country, right? And with that, I'm going to bring in Vichita's PPT to talk about email education. Give me 1 second. Where is that? Yes, here it is. So, Vijita, over to you. And I'll go backstage so that people don't get distracted seeing my face. Over to you.
Thanks, Rajgopal. Yeah, I'm Vichita Rajan. I'm a faculty member in the School of Education in the university. To talk about the MA education program, we do have a very unique program. In MA education, which essentially tries to combine the theory and practice in a meaningful manner. Probably if we can go to the next slide, we can, yeah, the participants can see some of the objectives. And this is the objective of combining theory and practice in a particular manner. This is perhaps true across all the programs. In the education program, we try to do this along with developing knowledge in a particular school subject area, and to sort of develop both capabilities and dispositions. As Rajgopal hinted at in the beginning, most of you come from varied backgrounds. Geographically, socioculturally, but also in terms of your educational training, professional training. We do have a program which can orient and develop capabilities for people to be able to work in this area in a sustained manner, and therefore we are also looking in a long term to develop a community of learners who can work in the area of education in a very sustained, committed manner. Mm. To talk about the structure, we can go to the next slide, perhaps. Yeah. It's a total of 80 credits for this MA education program, and these 80 credits are distributed across various kinds of courses. One category is taught courses, which includes both core and elective courses. We will come to the specific of these in a little while. Practicum and field practice, which is where we try to integrate theory meaningfully with elements of practice and actual reality in everyday classrooms in the Indian context. And then we have open courses. We will again see what these are shortly. And the fourth category is an option for independent study, where students can take up their own area of research and pursue it independently. If we have to look at the semester-wise distribution of how these courses are distributed, in semester one, all the courses that you have are core courses. So core courses are something courses where we think are very essential for all the students to gain a basic understanding around various disciplines. So in the first semester, you have philosophy of education, sociology of education, child development and learning, introduction to school systems in India. All of these are core courses which all students attend together. All students who get enrolled in the MA education program attend these courses together. And at the end of the semester one, you have a 2 weeks field practice. And then in semester two, you have two core courses. One is curriculum studies and the other is schools as organizations. And you have two electives. So electives are courses which small groups of people take up. So for instance, if you have applied in the social science category, or if you have applied in the early childhood education category, then your curriculum and pedagogy courses electives will be based on the subject area that you have chosen. Both in sem 1 and sem 2, we have open two open courses which have a little bit of broader scope in terms of the areas or knowledge that they cover. um, and again, varying according to different sets of knowledges and skills. At the end of semester two, there will be a field practice of about 3 weeks, where the students go to one particular organization, learn about the organization, assist the organization with their various practices and interventions, and basically understand how a particular organization working in the education sector operate, and what are the different modalities and how one can contribute to the organization in a meaningful manner. Sem 3 and Sem 4, you have again one core course in each of the semesters. In Sem 3, you have teacher professional development as a core course. In Sem 4, you have consolidation of program experience as a core course. Apart from these two, you also continue to do your subject area curriculum and pedagogy courses. So curriculum and pedagogy 1 and 2 you have in semester 2, 3 and 4 you have in semester 3. Apart from the subject area specialization, you have an option of taking up three more electives in your fourth semester. So these electives are again a little bit more broader than the subject area courses. So it could be a course on social theory, it could be a course on critical pedagogy, it could be a course on political economy or gender and education, based on what is being offered in that particular semester. So students will have a choice of selecting a particular elective. And in semester 4, again, you have the option for independent study. Between semester 3 and 4, in fact, most part of semester 3 is actually field practice 3, which is about which goes on for about 12 weeks. So students again go to schools, work closely with teachers. They actually take up lessons with students based on their subject area. They also undertake a small component of research. That is why we have the field research one component in semester 3, and later in semester 4, people kind of follow up on that and build on field research one course. So you have a field research 2 in semester 4. Um, we can move on to the next slide. Taught courses, as I said, these are in a way compulsory for all students, and one group of core courses, they provide the disciplinary lens for you to understand questions of education, right? So in education, in that sense, is a very broad field where you get to use knowledges and tools from various disciplines to sort of understand questions of education. And another part of core courses are courses which can help us understand the nature of school systems, what are the kind of policies and educational research that happen. So those are one set of core courses which are taken by everyone. And the other set, as I indicated, is based on your specific knowledge area. And the electives other than your subject area specialization are varied based on your interest. One, there is an option to take up various kinds of courses. If we can move on to the practicum and field experiences. So I already talked about field practice 1, 2, and 3. Field practice 1 for 2 weeks in the middle of a semester. Field practice 2 at the end of second semester. Field practice 3 in the middle of or in the second half of third semester. Apart from these longish sort of engagement in the field, we also have something called as the weekly practicum, where students go every Wednesday to a nearby schools in the city where we have some sort of engagement or tie-up, and students engage in varying ways in these schools through observing classrooms, through interacting with various stakeholders, and different courses that you learn in the university. They would have specific objectives for you to carry forward in the practicum task. So apart from the longish field practice that you do, there is also very regular, sustained weekly practicum that you do. Um, yeah, the next slide on open courses we have probably covered. You have to take up two open courses, and the scope is a little bit more wider. And for education, at least one open course should be in connection to arts and education, because that is a very important field where expressions and other forms of engaging in education can be taken up in a much more creative manner. Yeah. Just to briefly talk about assessment, or both pedagogy and assessment together, we do see learning and assessment are closely related to each other. Typically, most of us might have had a certain kind of education where you learn something for an entire semester or an entire year, and then you suddenly have an end-term examination, right? So usually you see a summative form of examination, but in the university here we really value formative assessment, which is assessment for learning, right? It is not assessment about learning in a consolidated sense. That might also be a small part of it, but largely we look at assessment in a manner that can enhance the pedagogy and learning. In that sense, a variety of pedagogical approaches are used through lecture discussions, through small group presentations, various kinds of field works, discussions, even a variety of assessment forms, not just final exams that you might have been familiar with in your earlier courses, but also various kinds of assignments through written work, through presentations, through group work, through posters, all kinds of creative outputs. If you look at the education field, it is very broad and often also underrated, right? So, the ecosystem of education is quite huge, beginning with the classroom, understanding all of those materials around classroom activities, be it textbooks or curriculum, all of the stakeholders, right? Teachers or school leaders, managers, researchers, policy makers, curriculum makers. So there is a variety of stakeholders involved in this process and ecosystem of education, and we often don't see this as a legitimate or valuable career path. And very often underrated. So, one, the course will expose you to certain set of knowledges, skills, capabilities, and commitments to in all of these areas in a more general sense. And as Rajgopal said, we do have a very elaborate a placement system where there are numerous opportunities across all of these subsectors based on your interest area. People can take up careers in many of these areas. So, with that, I'll stop and pass it on to Rajgopal and others.
Thank you. Thanks, Vijita. I think I'll stop sharing this part. Thanks. I think that was quite helpful for me as well. Every year I love this because it's a good revision of the program structure. I think that's the meat, right? The meat of this place is your engagement for the fourth semester at Azim Premji University, and certain things that Vijita explained about assessment, that we do not have any end of the year or end of the semester examination is across all the programs, and I think I can quite confidently say that. Uh, Also, on behalf of Azim Premji Foundation, we know that there are enough opportunities out there in the education sector space, the ecosystem of education, that we have to think beyond. Of course, we need good teachers inside the classroom, but how do we really support the entire ecosystem so that that teaching learning process happens the way it is uh, we have designed, right? So thank you. I think next we will do the MA development program. I would request uh, Milotpal to come on stage, and Vijita, you could be backstage for a while. And to the audience, I think I'm taking the liberty of calling them by names, but they're all experts in their fields. You should go and read about the profile, their body of work, the research interest. So I'm going to start with a small joke, Nilotpal, where somebody asked me, "Do you offer MBA programs, right, at the St. University?" So I said, "No, we offer MDA." I changed the D with a D for development. They asked me, "What is this MDA?" And I said, "This is a Master of Development Action." Everyone is fond of three letter acronym. So Vijita, you could be backstage. Karthika, if you could put Vijita backstage, I'll hand it over now to Nilotpal. And I'm Nilotpal. I'm borrowing your own words. You reminded me, telling that social change is not going to happen like this. It has to be planned. You have to plan for social change to happen in a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. So with that, over to you to talk about. Can I say a redesigned MA development program to some extent? Then
Yes, you
follow
would
on.
be right. Yes.
Yes, over to you. I'll go backstage. But if you think I should bring the website, I'll do that so that the audience can also see what we're talking
Sure,
about.
sure. Thank
Over to
you.
you.
Thanks, Rajgopal. Hi, everyone. I'm glad to see so many of you have an interest in finding out what this program is all about, and how does it actually fit with your own ideas of your careers. So, as you already know, this is a master's program in development, and you would have some idea that the word development already means some way of improving our lot, our condition, individually or collectively as a social group, right? So the course is about trying to learn how do we uh, bring about improvement in condition in which people live, right? So that's what the course's scope or mandate is. And the course tries to do that by emphasizing four major areas of learning and four major areas of learning and work. So the first one is is understanding what does the process of development look like. So here, you're trying, as a student, you're trying to build a perspective about how these ideas of progress, ideas of desirable change, ideas of development have come about historically, how different groups and institutions have thought about them. You could be looking at state as an institution, you could be looking at communities as institutions, or surely you would be looking at markets as actors and agents of bringing about change. So that's the first thing that the course is trying to do: build perspectives with which you understand the process of change. The second major goal of the course is trying to enable students to experience what does this process of desirable social change look like. Of course, all of you are experiencing development anyway, but in this course, you are trying to understand and experience development in a much more structured sense. So you will have your teachers, you will have your mentors, you will have a set of peers and guides with whom you're trying to experience this process of desirable social change. So that's the second thing that we do: experience. The third one is we are also trying to equip our students in ways that they can design and plan social change at community level, in villages or in urban wards, and so on and so forth. So the idea of conceiving or thinking about social change that you can implement. And finally, the course is also trying to equip students with skills with which they can work at the, at different levels, ranging from ground level work to higher, research or advocacy level work. So these are the four major, goals of the program. I will repeat. The first goal is that of enabling understanding. Second, the goal of providing you with structured experience of social change. The third one, enable you to think about how to conceive and design social interventions and social programs with which improvement can be brought about. And lastly, how do you work at the ground level? Now, if this is the goal of the program, how do we actually do it through the program? So here, once again, as you know. Uh, Vijita was speaking about MA education program. In very similar ways, MA DEP program is also structured around three major set of activities and courses. Uh, so just you have something like a taught courses, and then you have field oriented courses or field based courses. And taught courses can take two different forms. They can be core courses, or they can be elective courses. So core courses, as the name itself suggests, core courses are courses that are foundational in nature, and they're trying to build perspectives by drawing on a number of social sciences and also natural sciences. So in core courses, you would be learning about sociological ways of understanding development, or economic ways of understanding development, or let's say environmental ways of understanding processes of development. So the basic idea here, just as it was in MA education, the basic idea is to equip our students to build perspectives with which they can understand processes of development, right? Our first goal of the program. Then you have electives, and electives are going beyond just developing foundational understanding. They're also trying to deepen your understanding in a particular area of development, a particular field of development. So you can think of education being a field, or you can think of livelihoods. How do people make a living? What kind of factors affect their way of making living? Or how do people think of making a living in agriculture, or making a living through coastal livelihoods, through fishing, and so on and so forth. So this is one particular area in which you are trying to understand more in depth the processes of development. So these are called electives. So you have core, where you are trying to build broader perspectives about development, and then electives are trying to deepen your understanding within a particular field of development, for example, agriculture or health or sustainability, and so on and so forth. So there, the electives can range, in number, as well as in terms of interest area. Currently, in MA program, you would be rather pleasantly surprised to know that we have about 50 to 60 electives that our students can choose from. And with core courses and electives, then we have a major field component, again similar to MA education program. Now these field based courses, they can be very short in nature, or they can be extended in their nature. So short ones could be practicums that are built into your electives. So you may spend a day or a weekend in your elective course visiting, let's say, alternative farming practice groups, or you could be talking to sustainable farming farmers, and so on and so forth. So there is that field component in electives, but then you also have extended field courses where you spend from 2 weeks to, let's say, 8 weeks, at any one point in time. So we have three major field practice courses. The first one is what we used to earlier call immersion. Now it's community learning, where you spend 2 weeks in a rural setup, across western or southern part of India, and you are mentored by a faculty member in the course of your stay and your work there. So this is what happens in semester one. Then in semester at the end of semester two, you have one major block of field practice that we call summer internship, where you are assigned to an organization that works in the field of development in any particular area of work that you choose or you're interested in. So it could be health, it could be livelihoods, or it could be conservation or sustainability. And you spend 4 weeks working with the organization in the field, trying to learn about the organization, trying to understand its philosophy, trying to see how the organization works, and through all of this, also trying to understand the relationship between your core courses and how you are trying to relate them in terms of how development practice unfolds. So that's the second major field based course that we have, summer internship. And finally we have a 6 weeks winter field project between third semester and fourth semester break. So this is the longest field-based course that we have. Here, you are not trying to work with an organization, rather you're trying to develop a project of your own. So it could be a slightly research-oriented project, or it could be actually a research project within an organization as well. But here, you are the author or the designer of what you want to do. So this is winter field project that you also work on. So I've told you about the core courses and the field-based courses. Now you have to take 7 electives, and you have 3 field-based courses. In addition to them, we have a very unique component of self-learning that we call course of independent study. So course of independent study is something that you actually take in your fourth semester, but you start planning for it from the third semester itself. And course of independent study literally is a course that you take in lieu of one of the electives. So instead of doing 7 electives that normally all students do, you may elect to do 6 electives, and instead of one, you may want to choose a course of independent study of 3 credit. And course of independent study is something in which you design one particular area of work that you feel strongly about, and you think that it was not well covered in the entire program. So it could be something like a concept that you want to understand more in depth, that you don't think that has been covered earlier. Or you could be looking at a concept and how it applies to a particular geography. So for instance, students have earlier worked on how environmental concerns and conservation applies to a particular area of geography. it may be their home or it may be some other area of India, but they are trying to understand how a particular concept has unraveled in a particular geography. So, course of independent study is something, once again, that you do with a mentor from among faculty group, and you basically, as a result of your work, you produce a significant body of work. It could be an essay of 6 to 7,000 words, or it could be a training manual for a development organization that you do. So it could be either of these depending on your interest. So until now, I've told you about what the program is about and how the courses are trying to achieve that goal of the program. In the last, the assessment, as in MA Day program, my colleague Vijita was mentioning, the assessments here are unlike what many of you may have experienced earlier. It's not end of year or even end of semester one examination that you appear for. We have assessments that run throughout both taught courses and in electives and in field-based courses as well. So you are continuously assessed, and feedback is also continuously given so that students have ample time and ample understanding of how to improve in each and every course that we do here in the MA program. Lastly, pedagogy. Pedagogically, it's a very diverse class that we have. Students come from all walks of society, class background, caste background, gender background, reason and language, backgrounds. So a lot of our pedagogy is actually drawing on this diversity. So one thing that I could share here is that a lot of learning is actually learning from each other as a diverse group. And then a lot of learning is also learning outside of the classroom. So these are two important dimensions of pedagogy. The third major dimension of pedagogy is that we have textual readings and writing, but we also have a lot of non-textual reading and writing. So it could be your class through films, your class through documentaries, your class through walks in community, your learning through talking to different kind of people on campus. So pedagogically also we follow a very diverse approach, where you take the control of and you take the autonomy for your learning. So that's something that we really respect as it behoves a master's program. I hope I have covered more or less things that were important. But if you have any question, Rajgopal and I both are here, so we would look
Sure.
forward to some of the questions.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anupal. I think glad to see a lot of things have changed a little bit in terms of the way the program is structured. I think it's getting better. It's directly speaking to the changes happening in the development sector as well, right? Making them much more work ready with the skills and the tools they need to act on the ground. But they can't be acting on the ground without the theoretical underpinnings, right? So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So there's some question about the placement and scope of development and all, which we'll cover later. That's my pet topic, which I always say we need enough, a lot of people required, but not enough people who are well trained to act on the ground. So let's shift gears, let's move to Bhopal now. And in fact, if Mohit could come on stage. I forgot to mention MA education is offered both at our Bangalore and Bhopal campus, but Master of Public Health is offered only at Bhopal, and it's for people with work experience. You should have at least 2 years of relevant work experience after graduation. And there's been a slight small power cut. That's why it's become dark here at Bangalore. But probably it's giving cues that we should move to Bhopal as quickly as possible. So Mohit, over to you. Even the nature is telling us to go backstage. So what do you talk about public health? Yeah.
Sure, sure. Rajgopal, I'm audible, I hope. Just wanted to confirm.
Very, very clear. Very, very clear. Very, very clear.
Okay. I'm glad that I'm speaking after Nilotpal from development, because health and development have a very close and two-way relationship. Uh, Health, uh, commonsensically, when we listen this word health, what comes to mind is disease and doctors and nurses and injections and medicines. Uh, and I can very well understand why that is so. But public health, for those who have shown interest in this course, I'm sure they would appreciate that health is beyond just an absence of disease, and what we call it in broader terms is well being, uh, and not just absence of disease. This is one thing which is at the core of public health. Uh, Another thing is that we want such health, such well-being, not just for individuals but for population. And all of us have gone through this pandemic 2 3 years back, and we understand what do we mean when we say we need health for all, and not just for a few who can afford or who live in big cities. And then third very important principle core to the public health is that we don't want just health for people, but we want health with people, which means that we can't dictate terms when we are talking about health at large. We have to be in dialogue with our stakeholders and then arrive at the decisions. And if we have this conception of health and public health, then it is not just the health sector which can do all of this. We need to respect the limitations of, acknowledge the limitations of health sector, and we need to go beyond health sector and talk about all sectors and all policies and urge all sectors to keep health at the center of their conceptualization about their work. So this is the idea of public health that not just we, but anybody who is sincere about public health will operate with. And against this idea of public health, there are several challenges that we see around us in the country and beyond. Like the common sense understanding of health, the commonsensical service delivery by the health system is largely specialized curative services, not just all curative services, but one which are highly specialized. That is the prime focus, prime attraction for health systems. And even in this domain of diseases, we are suffering from a very high burden of communicable diseases like TB, non communicable diseases like diabetes. Accidents and injuries are on the rise. And if some of you are from Delhi, you will very well appreciate the problems we are facing because of changes in environment. Not just in Delhi, but especially in Delhi. And in face of this huge burden, the health system is often found to be having gaps, having lags, and wanting for more. And this leads to a lot of inequities depending on where we are living, depending on which caste we belong to, whether we are able to pay or not, which gender we belong to. There are many inequities in terms of health status as well as access to health services. And one more challenge that I want to especially put forward is the out of pocket expenditure that we incur while accessing healthcare services, which in our country impoverishes lakhs and lakhs of people every year. Now, in face of these public health challenges, to tackle with them, we need more public health minded professionals. And that is the reason why the foundation and the university thought of starting something on public health. Through this program, we want to build a cohort of public health professionals who understand and who internalize these values of equity, rights, and social justice. And given the inherent nature of public health, which is intersectoral, we actively seek for people having diverse disciplinary backgrounds. So we need people, we appreciate candidates having backgrounds not just in medicine, but we want people from social sciences. We want people who have maybe done law or who are from management background, because all of this together can handle the challenges that are facing us. And this course, as Vicheta and Nilotpal mentioned, focuses on knowledge, perspectives, and competencies. Competencies are at the center of the curricular design. And from competencies, we have worked backwards while designing the course to decide what all we need to cover in these 2 years, these 4 semesters, and how the classroom and the field mix. And this groundedness, this understanding of the context is again one distinctive feature that I would say about this program. And we'll talk in a minute in detail about the field component. But before that, a brief about the program design. So, like all master's programs, this is a 80 credit course spread across 4 semesters. And we have a mix of core courses. And Vijeta explained what do we mean by that. These are the courses which are at the core, and we want every student to do these courses. And these are classroom courses that happen in the classroom. Then we have elective courses. Uh, by that we mean that it is a choice that student makes. So if somebody is interested in advanced epidemiology, they can opt for this elective, though everybody will have a basic course in epidemiology. If somebody wants to develop perspectives about gender and health, there is an elective for that. But then gender as a social determinant will be dealt like other social determinants in perspectives course. Apart from these core courses and elective courses, almost half of the course is based out of field. Half of the program is based out of field. So we have a series of field practice components, 4 in number, spread across semesters. The first, which happens in first semester, is a concurrent posting in which students go 1 day a week to a community-based organization, and the purpose here is for the students to appreciate the all in health for all. That who are those people whom we are talking about in the classroom? How do they live their day-to-day lives? What challenges they face? How do they cope with those challenges? Where do they go for accessing healthcare if they do? And what are their experiences in those health centers? All of that to get a taste of ground is the purpose of this first field posting. The next one is a posting which happens in different parts of the countries, in remote regions of the countries, deep tribal belts and all, to understand the extent of remoteness. Like somebody who has spent all his life in tier 1, tier 2 cities may wonder that we have places like these in the country, and to appreciate that and to appreciate the challenges people living in those areas face, and also to appreciate the courage of people working in those areas to tackle these problems, is the purpose of the second posting, to understand what primary healthcare is. This is then followed by a third posting, which is again a concurrent posting with the government health system in the city of Bhopal. So again, 1 day per week, the students go to a urban primary health center, or health and wellness centers as we call them, and they try to understand how government functions on ground, how national health programs work, uh, what is the reporting mechanisms, what is the data that is collected, and what happens to this data, and what are the challenges that even government face. Like, it's very easy to point fingers, but then when we talk to people working in government, we realize that many of them are actually giving their best, and they themselves are not happy working there. What are the challenges? To appreciate that is one of the purposes of this third field posting. And then the fourth semester is almost entirely internship come a project which students do with a government or a non-government organization. So they work for 16 weeks, 4 months in that organization as an intern, so that they get an exposure of how day-to-day office works. Though we expect students already to be coming with the work experience of 2 years. But still, this is a niche health domain, so we want students to undergo that supervised work before they actually take the plunge in the world of practice. The second purpose of this posting is to engage with a project, which, as Nilotpal said, for development students, it can be a research project or it can be a project where students document some work that has already happened in the organization, or they develop some training material for the organization, or something that the student and the organization are mutually interested in. So it's a 4 months long component. And if I reflect on the credit division, out of 80 credits in the course, almost 38 credits are purely practice based. I'll also like to mention one workshop, a course which we have planned in a workshop mode, and that is on uh, communication for public health action. So that happens between second and third semester, and it will be a very interesting course. We are a new program. We'll deliver it for the first time for the first batch. So that was about the program design largely, and the practice component especially. Uh, yeah, regarding the learning experience, so at the cost of repeating, I'll say that like we are a one university, whether it's Bhopal or Bangalore. So across programs, we are very committed to making the classroom experience a very lively one. So obviously, we don't have any exams. I mean, some courses may have some tests sometimes, but that's not the practice that at the end of semester we take exams. It's formative assessment, which is also done very creatively. There may be a response paper to say two readings, or there may be a group presentation that we uh, encourage students to make, some creative expression that we encourage students to make. Uh, and uh, so and we are very also particular about bringing the learnings from the field to the classroom. And while the students are in field, faculty are in constant communication with the students, so that they don't take field as something different from a learning endeavor. So even field is considered as a site of learning, and there is a constant feed from field to the classroom and from classroom to the field. And beyond these two components, uh, like in Bangalore, we have guest speakers coming in with their own field experience, talking to students. We have a system of public lectures on diverse topic, which re-stresses our thinking that health is not just health sector, but it relates very closely with the wider developmental domain. And we have practicums, like 1 or 2 day visits in some organization or some institute doing very specific work. Like recently, we took our students to an organization working with medicinal plants. So such kind of exposures also make students rethink that it is not just allopathy, or it is not just one system of medicine that matters, but even the traditional knowledge that we have has a value. And people, the community realizes it, and it is high time that we as professionals also acknowledge that. Uh,
I think, thanks, Mohit. I think, no, no, I didn't mean to interrupt. I mean, the one point that I think you said that the way it is designed is, it is, you don't need a medical background to be doing a public health program at Azim Range University, right?
yes,
All are welcome.
actually, we encourage the classroom to be diverse.
Correct. So yeah, I think the course structure, the way you explained, it's all there on the on the web page. I think it's because it's a, of course, health is not new for us. We've been always been offering as part of the MA development program, but Master of Public Health as a program is new. So those who want to know further details, I would really recommend. It's quite a well written, detailed website page. So you can just search Master of Public Health Azim Premji University, that will come up. So yeah, sorry, Mohit, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just in the interest of time, I was wondering whether we should go to economics now and then come back and take questions on
Yeah,
public
please
health.
do that. Please do that.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. So, Adena, if you could come on stage, I think we should now talk about. We started with the education, I think, and then development, public health, economics. It's around you. I think the question is, how do we use our economics and its concepts and tools for a better society? So I'm going to bring up the PPT, but you can start talking, Adena. Just give me 1 second so that I can bring up the slides.
Yeah.
Can you bring it onto the stage? Yes.
Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you, Rajagopal. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adoyna. I'm here to talk a little bit about the MA in Economics program here at Azim Premji University. If you've been sitting and listening to the past three speakers, I think you would have gotten a fair sense of how many of the master's program that we offer here are kind of integrally linked and connected to each other. And the kind of economics program that we offer here, I think one can boldly state that we're not just interested in the growth of the economy, we're also interested in the development of human beings. So we look at various indicators of human development like health, education. We have master's programs separately looking at those specific indicators. But I'm here to also point out that within the economics group as well, we are very consciously aware and keen of the differences between pursuit of economic growth and also the interest on ensuring development of human beings. So in that sense, I think we have a very wide-ranging and diverse set of courses, which I'm going to talk about in a while. But I just want to start by also letting you know a bit about the MA in Economics program rationale. I just want to start by saying that the discipline of economics in its contemporary form is first and foremost a policy science. Right? And by that, I'm saying that much of the economic modeling and applied analysis that we do in economics really tries to correctly identify and propose solutions to many of the socio-economic problems. And in that sense, economics can very significantly inform public policy making. So keeping that in mind, the MA in Economics program here at APU is designed to develop competent and committed professionals in various sectors of the economy. We would like to believe that the program that we have here is a very uniquely designed program to develop what we believe would be the next generation of economists who are also socially very aware. They're not just equipped with theoretical knowledge and technical skills, but also very aware of the historical, the institutional, the developmental, and the ecological context of contemporary India, so to say. So in other words, the program really tries to ensure that students develop very strong technical skills, but within the contextual pressing economic and development issues facing the country today. Right? The goal of the program is to ensure that we provide students with a very strong understanding of economic theories, concepts, tools of analysis, including exposure to various softwares and economic databases in the country, and the ability to practically apply this to current economic and development issues of the Indian economy. So we try to ask very important or interesting questions. For instance, we ask questions like, should economists be interested in the constitution of the country? And we say, yes, we should be, because constitutional change or amendments can have tremendous economic outcomes. We ask questions like, should economists be interested in issues of climate change? And we say, yes. It's not just a physical phenomenon, but economists have important role to change or alter people's behavior that results in phenomenon like climate change. And also that once a phenomenon like climate change happens, it has tremendous economic outcomes. And so Right now, what I want to do is to quickly take you through the MA Economics course structure. Um, so as you can see here on the slide, we have about 12 core courses running through the first 3 semesters. I'm going to be very quick about some of these details because you will find them in the website as well. So I'm just here to quickly run you through some of the courses that we offer here. We have a total of 80 credits in our MA Economics program. We have 12 core courses in the first 3 semesters. Excuse me. So these core courses cover the foundational knowledge and skills necessary to be able to understand economics from the development context of contemporary problems that we face in the country. This core courses gives priority to addressing many of the institutional, not just the economic, but also the developmental ecological concerns that we are facing in the country, while also covering some of the statistical and research methods that tends to straddle many other courses that are taught in the core courses. We also have a field practice. So by now you're probably familiar with words or terms or ideas, pertaining to field practice, because I think the previous speakers have also spoken quite a bit. The idea here is that we offer a field practice course in the first winter. That is after the first semester, in the month of December, the first 3 weeks, we have a field immersion where we expose the students to various social stratas and economic activities of rural India. The idea is to really allow students to get a sense of, I'm sorry, the current went, but I hope you can hear me. The idea is to expose students to understand what rural India really looks like. What does it feel like to live in rural India? What kind of economic activities exist? And so on. So, like I was saying earlier, the idea is to create socially aware economists working in different sectors of the economy later on. We also have a creative expression, which is offered in the second semester. And creative expression is a very unique course because this recognizes that there are different ways for students to learn much beyond the four walls of a classroom. This really brings out the dimensions or the aspect of a multimodal understanding, through work, through play in various activities like music, sports, games, dance, pottery, woodwork, theater, and so on. Okay. Then we have a set of elective courses. There are 7 electives, which are mostly offered in the third and fourth semester. And the elective courses are designed for students to extend the foundational knowledge that they have acquired or learned in the core courses and develop their domain expertise in particular fields. At the end of the second semester, we also offer students to opt for one of the tracks. One is called a master's thesis, and the other is called internship track. So the students have the option to either pursue a thesis. If students are thinking of long-term engagement with higher studies and thinking of engaging with PhD programs and so on, this is a good track to opt for. We encourage students to ask original questions. We ask students to be very real and relevant in the kind of questions that they ask, encouraging them to ask questions that affects them or their community or their district or their state, whether it's the economy, whether it's the environment, whether it's the social relations, economic relations, and so on. So that beyond a point of time, student tends to sort of get exhausted and research activity tends to become dry unless you're asking questions that uh, at some level personally affects you, right? Affects you in the sense your community, your district, your state, your country, and so on. The other optional track that I was talking of is the master's internship track. It is mostly suitable for students who like to engage in actions outside the classroom. It is designed to expose students to a variety of contexts in which economists work in different sectors of the economy. Uh, the internship track has two components. Actually, one is the master's internship, and the other half is the community engagement. For those of you who would like to know more about that, I can come back and respond to questions later on that. So in the next slide, I just want to quickly show you the kind of core courses that we have. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Yeah. So here you can see in the first semester we have micro and macro one, political economy, stats with R, and intro to research and qualitative methods. So the field practice that happens up to the first semester, as I was saying, is really a space where you can really test the knowledge and concepts that you have learned in the first semester, particularly the course Introduction to Research and Qualitative Methods. This is a unique course that we are offering. In the next 3 semesters, students are sort of equipped with a lot of quantitative skills to analyze economic data. But this course in semester 1 has a very heavy emphasis on qualitative methods. So students are given exposure to different qualitative data methods of collection, and also qualitative data analysis. So this field practice is a space where students could really, try and apply some of the skills and art that they have learned on how to do field journal, how to sort of engage with the community in the form of participant or non-participant observation and so on. Semester 2, we have the next 5 core courses: Micro 2, Macro 2, Political Economy 2, Applied Econometrics with Data, and Communicating Economics. I think one of the very unique courses that we offer is this thing on Communicating Economics, which really tries to develop a very detailed understanding of how to communicate economic facts and ideas effectively, depending on the purpose and of course as well as the audience. So the course really involves detailed discussion on writing for different audience, techniques of effective visual communication, presenting through a mix of different media such as the visual, the textual, performative, and so on. Okay. So I think this is a very unique course that we have. Like I was saying, after semester 2, students can either opt for a master's or an internship track. Semester 3, we have 2 core courses left, which is Economics of the Environment and Econometrics of Cross-Sectional Panel Data. Economics of the Environment is also a very interesting course. So what we try to do here is to also understand throughout the program the strengths of mainstream or neoclassical economics, but also to recognize the limitations of mainstream or neoclassical economics. In that sense, we also have some of these very interesting courses like Economics of the Environment, which talks about human nature and relationship much beyond ways that economics as a discipline projects human beings to be economic rational agents, and you're only thinking about the exploitative or the utilitarian relations that economic agents tends to build with the environment. Right? So courses like this help students to look much beyond some of these limitations that economic modeling provides. Okay. And then, as you can see, there are about 7 electives that students can opt for. And in the next slide, you can see the series of these elective courses that we offer. If you can move to the next slide. So here you can see a list of the electives in both the third and fourth semester. So we have intro to climate change economics, computational economics, advanced macro labor econ, ecotrics of cross-sectional panel data. We also have, you can see the diversity of courses that we're trying to offer here. We have in the fourth sem, history of economic thought, a very interesting and very sought after course here in our MA program. We also have courses like feminist economics, money, banking, finance, and so on. Okay. So this is a quick snapshot of the kind of curricular structure and courses that we offer. Even though I have not put it up on the slides, I just wanted to uh, finish my bit of the presentation by very briefly talking about the pedagogy once again. I think we have a very similar pedagogical structure across the schools and across different, postgrad programs that we offer here. But I also want to emphasize the pedagogical approach that we develop and offer in our master's program, which is that we are very conscious about exposing students to plurality of schools of thought within economics, which are at the same time historically grounded and puts real world issues and problems in the forefront. Okay, secondly, the pedagogical approach that we offer is also one that gives precedence to understanding economics through the practical application of its techniques, right, to the Indian economy, as I was saying, and also within the larger development context. We also employ various other approaches to economics, including problem-based learning, field-based learning, collaborative learning, using a lot of real-world economic data sets from databases, which has very interesting economic data for our country, including CMIE, PLFS, NSSO, IHDS, and so on. So I just wanted to also quickly highlight about some of these pedagogical approaches that we offer in our MA program. So in the interest of time, I'm not going to go beyond this. I think during Q&A, if there are questions that you have pertaining to MA Economics program, I would be happy to take up some of those questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Udayan. I just quickly looked at this. There is no specific program specific questions as such, but I think this, what you all spoke over the last 1 hour or so would have given them deep insights into the domain. Right? Some of them are still confused. People have done, should I do an MA development or should I do an MA economics? I think they would have this would have given them a lot of clarity in terms of what they're signing up for. So, but what I'll do is quickly to end. I think there's been a lot of questions on the placements part of it. Broadly, what does social sector look like? So, I'm not going to pick a program and say, but Brinda can keep me right. Is there any specific question for a faculty members to answer? Then there were two questions on NPH. I remember maybe Mohit can come on stage and then answer that specific question in terms of what do we mean by work experience. So especially Mohit, if you can come on camera and then unmute. Some of the programs in the country also have the internship. They could be doing a 5-year program. It could be a medical degree, or it could be a. Is that considered to be a work experience? So maybe you could answer that. I think there was a question from somebody who's doing nursing.
Yeah, so the question of nursing from the person with nursing background was that how to prepare for essays. And I can truly empathize with this question because I myself come from that kind of a background. I'm trained in medicine. So it's very difficult for people from nursing, medicine, or any physical sciences background to write like essays. We are more used to writing points, like prescription of drugs, no? So I actually understand the question, but what will help you is start reading, like start reading pieces of that kind, especially if you can read newspapers. These days health is getting significant space in some newspapers, at least like Hindu. If you see, almost 3 times a week it will carry something on health. So read, and there are a lot of news portals which cover health in a very decent and desirable way. So if you start with such popular stuff, it'll help you understand the contemporary issues and then also write essays. But you will have to consciously do it, because by default our disciplines restrict us to specific points. uh, that's how we address our exam questions, but it will happen. It's not that difficult. uh, there was one more question I think Vrinda shared. uh, Somebody with a 5 years experience in development sector has asked that how MPH can help me in my career. So as I said previously, development and health are like they share a two-way relationship, and I'm sure uh, this candidate would have uh, a very close experience on ground, and there must have been a lot of questions in his or her mind, uh, which some of which, with a dialogue with the self, he or she would have found some answers and be left wondering about the rest. And they would also have felt constrained because of a lack of knowledge in a health specific domain. Uh, and thirdly, uh, this uh, skills to understand health problems, uh, to have those tools to understand those health problems might need some bit of sharpening. So that's how MPH is going to help them gain that confidence in this sector, which is related to development, but which has its own specificities, to get comfortable with the terminology that is common in health and public health sector, and to gain those research skills that help us gain a deeper understanding, a sharper understanding of issues, and the skills of coming up with possible solutions in participation with people. All of this is what I think MPH is going to add to already rich experience of people having worked in development or any social sector. Yeah. Any other question, Brinda, for public health?
Not really, Mohit.
What we
Not
could,
specific
what,
to.
yeah, what we could probably do is between now, today being the last day, and December 24th, we could look at doing one more if need be, or maybe after the test. There's only one among the many webinars that we'll do between now and July 2024. So I think Vinda, there's a lot of questions on the selection process itself, which is there on the website. So
Yes.
probably you could explain that, and then I'll walk them through the slides while you're speaking.
Yes. If you could share the webpage, Rajgopal. Yeah.
So this is where it is. I mean, you go to admissions at aid, you go to postgraduate admissions, and
Yes.
then when you go here, if you want to know in detail about the majors, there are a lot of videos. You could go through that, and then come down. Jobs in social sector. I can, if I start, I'll have to speak till the night, right? So, but I'll still cover in the towards the end. And whatever you need quickly is available here, right? So this selection process is what we'll cover now.
Yes.
And yeah. So I'm just going through. I just stop sharing this and share another screen. Just give me 1 second. But you can start speaking, Brenda.
Yes. So, thank you, Rajgopal. And we have had so many questions related to the selection process. And in the chat, I tried to answer as much as possible, but still, I think there are questions related to the selection process. So I'll talk about the eligibility. So to apply to our master's program, for MA Education Development and MPH,
Okay, any graduate can apply. And for MPH, as Mohit mentioned earlier, there is a requirement for two years work experience. Okay, so after the graduation. And for MA economics, any undergraduate degree in economics will be required. So that is the eligibility criteria to apply for the program. And we conduct the admission process in two rounds, round one and round two. Okay, so you must have seen the application form online. Today is the last day to apply, so 22nd November. So if you have not applied, if you're interested, please go and fill up the form and submit it. Okay, so once you submit the form, there is a national entrance test conducted in around 40 centers across the country. Once you qualify in the selection process, I mean national entrance test, there will be personal interview. Most probably this will be conducted online, and the classes will start in the month of July 2024. Okay, these are the dates for round one. So those who could not apply right now, or due to certain reasons, if you are not able to apply, or the date of the examination is not suitable for you, you can apply in round two. Okay, we will start the application form by end of December or early Jan, and the entire process like national entrance test, personal interview, and everything will be conducted again. Okay, so we have not announced the round two dates yet. Let me talk about the entrance test. So for MA Development, Master of Public Health, and MA Education. Okay, so all the entrance tests have part one and part two. Part one is MCQs, and part two is some descriptive paper. Okay, so MA Development and MPH and MA Education. The part one for all these three programs are same. So there are 40 MCQs. So out of that, like reading comprehension 15 MCQ, quantitative reasoning 15 MCQ, and social awareness 10 MCQs, and there is no negative marking. Okay, part two is different for each of the program. So a question somewhat related to the program will be given to you. You will be required to attempt that. So for MA development, there is one out of two descriptive questions. So it is around 50 words you have to write. And Master of Public Health, two out of three descriptive questions. So each one should be having a word count of 600 to 700 words. And MA Education, one general descriptive question. And you must be knowing that we have five different streams for MA Education. So early childhood education, science, maths, social studies, okay, and etc. So questions related to these streams will be appearing in your paper. Okay, and MA Economics paper is completely different. So it is very specific to MA Economics program. Total 35 questions are there, MCQ. And this will cover 10, I mean, microeconomics 10 questions, macroeconomics 10 questions, quantitative 10 questions, and analytical 5 questions. And there is negative marking. And there is descriptive section also. Three descriptive question will be given, so it will be related to economic reasoning, applying economics in the real world, etc. Okay, so I would suggest you go through the structure very clearly before attempting the question. Okay, and if you see, there are sample question papers available. There is a link, yeah, Raj Gopal is highlighting here. So the past question papers are uploaded on the website. Please refer to it and prepare for it. This will give you an idea about what kind of questions are asked in the question paper. And you must have already selected the test center location. So it is also updated here, state wise. Uh, Select the test center which is convenient to you. Okay, and once you clear in the entrance test, okay, so you will be called for a personal interview. This will be conducted in the month of Jan 2024. So the whole idea of early cycle is we encourage you to I mean, those who are very clear about Azim Premji University and confident about the program that we are offering, we recommend you to apply in the early cycle and secure a provisional admission offer. Okay, so this will give you a kind of mental peace, and like, you can focus on your studies, completing the degree exams later. Okay, so the I mean, at the time of joining, you will be asked to submit the marks card of your undergraduate program, and we will verify it. And completing successful completion of undergraduate program is mandatory for the enrollment in the PG program. I think I have covered, and wish you all the best. And Rajpal, would you?
Thank you. Thanks, Brenda. And let me, before I forget, let me thank the faculty members who came and did. I'm going to watch these videos again so that I understand the programs better. So there are some questions on what kind of essay question will be. It will be related to the domain that you're interested in, right? If it's you're applied for the development program, you look around. What are the kind of issues around you can see? So the one question could be: do you think we should make bus transportation the charges free for women? Yes or no? Argue. Right? Could be anything. That it definitely it's not going to be a question like please write about your favorite political leader or something like that. It's going to be something that you see outside. Are you able to connect that and write it in a structured manner, right? So even, by the way Mohit was telling, I learned it the hard way. Still I struggle because of my training in engineering. Now quickly, I think there are some questions on the placements. Let me do that. I know I've exceeded the time, but I'll just talk about the same thing. Somebody's asking MA education. It could be about the school environment itself. Do you think children should play? There should be play in the timetable till the 10th standard. If yes, why? If not, why? It's all about some question related to education or right to education. Why? How do you think the right to education has helped the students of India? So it could be something very specific to the domain of school education. In education, the focus is to understand how to improve the teaching learning process inside a classroom. Correct? So yeah, okay. Now coming to, I'm going to share a slide, and then quickly for 5 minutes just to tell you so that any questions that you have around placements, we want to clarify that. Okay, and then can you bring that slide? Because see, the thing is, I don't know whether you've heard the term sunrise sectors, right? If you look at this terminology that people use, the sectors, the industry that's going to grow. I'm going to call the social sector the rainbow sector, right? Why do I say that? Why do I say that is, you can see the rainbow colors there. You can pick the theme that you want to work, right? Of course, if you're signing up for public health, clearly you're decided that you're going to work in the health sector. But development, if you're doing, it's broad. Somebody was asking which area will I work in the development sector. You decide that, right? It could be in the area of gender, or you'll be working in right-based organization, you'll be working in ecological organization, renewable energy, health, sustainability, wide range kind of thing. You pick the theme that you want to work, right? And variety of roles in the social development sector. I'm never tired of saying this, but I think we're stuck in the world of government sector jobs and private sector jobs. More power to them, no problem. But the social sector also is a sector where you start as an associate and you can become a block leader, district leader, program manager, variety of roles depending on what you would like to do, right? Some of them are specialists doing program implementation, program analysis. Some of them are into program management roles. Some of them are into research research to design better programs, right? Somebody was asking, what is the kind of research? Is it research for PhD? That's academic research. Here we're talking about research so that we know if the program implemented has worked or not, or do we need to fine tune the program that we have designed and implemented, correct? Variety of organizations, social sector is getting, I would say, getting better and better in terms of it's getting ranging from big philanthropic organizations to CSRs to the grassroots organizations, right? I think that's where the action is happening. And the action is not at the funding agencies or international agencies. Action is happening there on the ground. Somebody trying to improve what's happening at the panchayat, right? Or you could be working at a district level, and that's the next thing is
at the location. You could be working anywhere in India. And in the interest of time, I'm just doing it quickly. You get to work with the most vulnerable child, the voiceless child. We're trying to give the voice to the child, to the most powerful, in the bureaucrat or the elected representative. That's the range of people that you get to work in the social development sector, rather than fixing. Anyway, forget it. I don't want to compare with other sectors. Remuneration, the social sector will never try to attract you by showing you the pay package, right? Because you come here for you have some kind of a fire in the belly, wanting to see a better world. But yeah, if you go and look at the placement website of Azim Premji University, you can see what could be the starting pay package. But what you should ask is, what will happen to me in 5-10 years? What am I gaining? What we need is the person in the center. The person in the center is what we need. The youth who would come and learn academically, build the right perspectives, gain the skills and competencies to work for planned social change. We don't have package solutions for problems of the country, right? We'll have to respond to the community in context, right? What works in Bhopal, the city, will not work in Indore, will not work in Betul, will not work in Kesla, right? I think this, I'm going to go to the next slide. This, I think, I'm going to skip this slides quickly. I'm going to go to the slide that talks about our placements. Sorry, I'm just going through quickly. This all is done. So placement, we have a placement cell, right? This is for all undergraduate, postgraduate programs. And every year, what we started by saying 60, 70 organizations coming for placement, more than 100 organizations are participating in the campus placements, right? And if I have to put the list of organizations, it will go to 3. And you can see some of the names who come regularly every year. And the placement happens in the month of January. And some of them said, no, it's not placement. I'm going to do a fellowship program in an American India Foundation, or they may find their own fellowship programs to pursue. And variety of roles, but I'm just summarizing it into 3 buckets of many of them are into program coordination, some of them are evolve as a specialist in a particular area, some of them are doing research. And finally, what I am personally proud of is many of them have taken the difficult path of setting up their own social enterprises, right? And saying that no, I think why I'm saying a different path is it's quite tough in a country like India, where you're trying to do a work for social impact, right? So who will fund them? But they have proven it. They've proven it that they could do it. I've just listed 2 names, but if I have to list, it could be Vidya Viday. That is, I've been following the work for the last 5 years. It's in Madras, Chennai, but now they're going to work in Puducherry. And I was talking to Ram and Rajita the other day. They're going to work with Telangana state as well, right? So as they say in Hindi, pura maidan khula hai social sector mein, right? It all depends on how much you apply. I think I've exceeded 3-4 minutes. With that, I'm going to wrap up. I'm preparing for MA education. Can I get some important questions? I'll put that there on the website, so you can just go and look for very, very in detail. It is all explained there. But if you want, write to us at outreach at Azim Premji University. I'm not really sure whether that's there in the email ID here. Let me see if our email ID is somewhere mentioned. Maybe not. But I'm going to stop sharing. You can write to us at outreach at Azim Premji University. Rest of the questions I think we have answered. So thank you very much. So thanks Vijita, Nilotpal, Mohit, Adena, Brinda for answering all the questions, and Kartika for handling it behind the scenes. Of course, Asha and my other colleagues who are answering the questions patiently. Final reminder, today is the last date. So if you think that you need to upload a photograph and complete the form, please do that. You've got nice 4 hours to do all that. It's not a difficult application form to complete. So here's wishing you all the best one more time. I hope to see many of you on campus. Have a wonderful evening ahead. Bye-bye.